I know we've spoken.
What is this, Fine Waldo?
Terry, I know we've spoken often about with Bartolo. It's either he has it or he doesn't. But have you seen something these last two games, 16 straight scoreless, that has stood out to you as to why he's been so successful?
You know, I think he got a little frustrated when he went through that streak where things weren't working very good. And the last two times out, he's actually thrown a couple times between starts. I mean, even 2 days ago, he came in the game and pitched. And I think, you know, the fact that he's thrown a little bit more, he's found his command, he's found his release point, and he's pitched great.
I know you guys have been very impressed with Conforto in this month here, but when he hits a pitch like that, opposite way over the fence, what type of, you know, future does that kind of flash before you?
You know, we continue to very quietly talk about what a good player this guy's got a chance to become. He's an outstanding hitter. I mean, he's got a great swing. And again, I think the rest has helped him a little bit. We're talking about a kid in his first full season who's now entering September. That doesn't happen very much. So I think the time off here and there is going to help him stay strong down the stretch. But I tell you, against right-hand pitching, he's really dangerous.
Next. In the back, Jerry.
Terry, any thought to going Colon in the ninth there? I know he's batting first in the bottom of the eighth. Any thought to let him give it a shot in the ninth?
Yeah, if we were last year, yes. We aren't. I got one of the best closers in the game. It's a closing situation. I'm closing with him. So.
Yeah, Kevin.
Terry, what about you watch Conforto in the clubhouse and everything about him. He seems to just fit in, right?
Kevin,
got the right clock.
There are certain guys, and I'll tell you, we have a lot of them. Those first-year guys, they act like first-year guys. They know their place. They listen. They don't try to be anything they're not. Matt did it. We saw Jake do it last year. We're seeing Syndergaard do it this year. Listen, they're just trying to fit in. And when you have all the veterans that we have now, they appreciate that, because this is a game that where you're in the right to be somebody, and Michael's handled it great.
Yep, Mike.
Terry, why does it seem like it's harder for hitters to make an impact right away in their professional careers, let alone their major league careers? And what has Conforto done well in this time with you to be able to be so good a year out of college?
Well, first of all, he's a real good hitter, and we said this before. I think as time goes on, we'll find out, because one of the things you'll see, and a lot of guys, their first year up here, they're aggressive. Nobody knows them, so they're not sure really where the weaknesses are, and so they get, sometimes they'll get a mistake and do damage, and Michael's done that. I think, again, when he becomes an everyday player, and he will, I think, obviously I think his stroke's going to be very good, but when they start to try to figure out what he's going to do, it's going to be interesting to see the adjustments he has to make to lay off some of those other pitches that he can't handle. But right now he's just got a great swing. He's got great hand and eye coordination. All the things you look at, good hitters that what they do right, he does it.
Terry, staying on Conforto, do you get frustrated watching what has been a stolen base for the last 50 years not be a stolen base anymore?
It's funny you bring that up. I had that exact discussion the other day with one of the other managers, and there is frustration in it, but guess what? That's the game today. So we can be frustrated all we want. Well, we've got to teach them to learn how to slide and stay on the bag. We go back last year in L.A. when Davey Lopes had D. Gordon out for sliding practice to get him to stay on the bag, because they were, he was popping up off the bag. We've had it happen with EY, so often here that now the game is different. We've got to teach a different way to slide into the bases.
Yeah, Tony?
Or not to diminish what Colon did, but as you look to evaluate these guys coming down the stretch, how much do you take into account, or how do you gauge for the fact that a lot of what he's done this past 2 weeks has been against a last place team?
I don't worry about it too much. Our rotation is what it's going to be, and I wish everybody would understand. The only thing I'm looking at is the next 2 games. That's it. I know what my pitching is going to be. We're gonna, we're looking at the road trip coming up and who's gonna fit where. We've kind of got it lined up, a little bit for the Nationals, but I'm not looking any farther than a week ahead. And what happens at the end of the month, we'll worry about it then. Who's going to pitch when and who's going to pitch now, this game or that game. Right now, I don't worry about that stuff.
Just getting back to Conforto, when young players come up, they're overly aggressive, and that's understandable. He's got a plate discipline and using the whole field. I mean, have you seen that from a young player of just a small amount of minor league games comparative to others?
Well, I haven't seen that too many players would have, I just saw Chris Bryant briefly this summer, so I haven't seen much of him. But obviously, you know what? When these young guys are coming up now, they're doing huge damage, and they're big and they're bigger and stronger than they ever were 15 or 20 years ago. So one of the things that this kid has shown is that, look, he's willing to get a hit. He's willing to take a hit, whatever they're going to get him. And I think that's why he was such an outstanding college hitter. When you got an aluminum bat in your hands, and you've got power like he's got, a lot of guys would just stand up there and try to hit homers. He didn't. He was just a good hitter, and I think it plays. That's why I think picking up that wood bat's been so easy for him.
Yeah, Mark.
Larry, that's 20 wins in a month, and just wondering, have you ever been a part of anything like that in the major leagues? And what do you think has been the biggest difference here just in this August for you guys?
I haven't, Mark. This is the first, and I didn't know that was the 20th win, but I have not had a team that's won 20 games in a month. The biggest difference is August 31st or July 31st. We made some moves. We made some moves that brought some energy, brought some enthusiasm, and some to this team in the clubhouse and on the field, and I think it spread. I think it made the other guys on the team. And I don't know how to put this, but they might have been getting a little tired and a little down. They weren't hitting, and everybody was getting a little frustrated. And these new guys came in and popped them in the middle of the lineup, and all of a sudden they started getting hits, and everybody took a deep breath, and the pressure was gone. So that's where I think it started, and then obviously it's just carried on from that.
Terry, they mentioned Matz and Goodell along with the other four, but no Parnell. Is he? You going to wait on him, or?
Well, he's not a call-up, so all he's doing is coming off the disabled list. So I think it's a little different.
Is he ready to come off? Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I saw the other day, he is. Yeah.